For today's mental health moment, I have been thinking a lot about this phrase that I've been hearing the last month or so about Zoom fatigue. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel that very deep in my bones. Just so many meetings all the time and trying to schedule and find the right passcode and just all these things. And in a lot of ways, I keep joking to my husband, Tyler, that I kind of feel like I have 2020 fatigue. And I'm just ready for us to move past this. But we still got 4 months to go, guys. And so we have to find things that are going to help us to continue on and to maintain our mental health. And so in thinking about that, I have a prayer that I want to share from this book, Every Moment Holy. I've shared it here a couple of times before. But before I do that, just sort of the reason that I picked this particular liturgy, this particular prayer to share with everybody is thinking about we are in a new month. A lot of people are starting their new school year. A lot of people are returning to work or preparing for the fact that they may be going back to working from home if they are working in person. There's just so much uncertainty between COVID and the election's only 7.5 weeks away, and everything going on with school, and just so much stuff. It just feels like you're constantly bombarded. And the thing is that there's so much work to do. There's so much that we as the church are called to do. This church, Central, does so much wonderful service, and we can't maintain that if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so you have to find what works for you. This is not a magic bullet, one size is going to fit all kind of thing, and I definitely understand that. But one thing that's been very helpful for me is turning notifications off of Facebook on my phone, or carving out a little bit of time where I'm just off my phone for a couple hours a day. Because the thing is, we as the church are also not called to turn a blind eye and act like nothing's going on, or to turn away from those who are suffering or need us to stand up with them. And so it's this very hard balance. And so I'm not saying turn everything off. I'm not saying walk away from the social media altogether or the news altogether. But whether it's dinner with your family or some time that you're spending with the Bible or just in conversation with God, just consider maybe putting your phone away for a little while and just taking that breath. So the prayer that I'm wanting to share today is one that I've turned to a lot this summer, a liturgy for those flooded by too much information. So I hope that you will join me in prayer. In a world so wired and interconnected, our anxious hearts are pummeled by an endless barrage of troubling news. We are daily aware of more grief, O Lord, than we can rightly consider, of more suffering and scandal than we can respond to, of more hostility, hatred, horror, and injustice than we can engage with compassion. But you, O Jesus, are not disquieted by such news of cruelty and terror and war. You are neither anxious nor overwhelmed. You carried the full weight of the suffering of a broken world when you hung upon the cross, and you carry it still. When the cacophony of universal distress unsettles us, remind us that we are but small and finite creatures, never designed to carry the vast abstractions of great burdens, for our arms are too short and our strength is too small. Justice and mercy, healing and redemption are your great labors. And yes, it is your good pleasure to accomplish such good works through your people, but you have never asked any one of us to undertake more than your grace will enable us to fulfill. Guard us from shutting down our empathy or walling off our hearts because of the glut of unactionable misery that floods our awareness. Give us discernment in the face of troubling news reports. Give us discernment to know when to pray, when to speak out, when to act, and when to simply shut off our screens and our devices and to sit quietly in your presence, casting the burdens of this world upon the strong shoulders of the one who alone is able to bear them up. Amen.